Hi, it's James Harrison. I'm back to talk about another pad I have today. It's the Xymox Pad. And truth in advertising here, I bought this used from someone. Um, and the reason I bought it is because so many of the people that I've taught, or so many who are interested in marching, really want something that has this hard surface on it. Uh, and I understand that, and that's I think the market they're particularly after. For me, again, I've spoken on some of the other videos that for me a drum pad is something an alternative to when I can't practice on a drum, and for marching people who can't always have access to a drum, that's what these particular type of pads are designed for. So the Xymox pad, this is a 12-inch pad. I think it goes for just under $100 or so, list price. Again, I bought this from somebody used. So with shipping, I'm sure it's $100 or something like that. It's a pretty heavy pad, a heavy wood base. It's got a panel underneath that you could take off with a drum key. And it's full of little tiny pebbles or BB type things. And you get a bag that has some in there. And to me, the less there are in there, the more snare-like it sounds. When you fill it up and tighten it down, it doesn't seem to have as much of that snare sound. It's got like a foam on the back. Again, this is the 12-inch pad. It's pretty heavy. And then it's got some kind of a heavy plastic type rim to give you the ability to do rim shots and stuff with it. It's got a couple of cutouts in there so you can rest a stick in there. I don't really care about that kind of thing, but it's, I guess it is a cool thing to have. You just want to leave the sticks there all the time. So it's a pretty hard pad. Again, it's got like it's pretty smooth here, but it's got probably, I haven't taken it apart. Most practice pads are going to be wood or some kind of a base with some kind of rubber, some kind of gum rubber in there. Different thicknesses are going to give you the hardnesses and whatnot. And then a lot of them will have a sheet of something. Usually it's a vinyl paper like they put over cars. Oftentimes these carbon fiber ones. They wrap a lot of racing cars and cool things of cars that look like carbon fiber. They put that on there. And it's a wrap. It's a vinyl wrap of carbon fiber. And then they sometimes put a clear coat of something over it to give it that sound. Anyway, this has a carbon fiber look of a silver, obviously a green thing. You can take the rim off, whatnot. It's not a tuning mechanism, but you can take it off with these drum keys. Again, you can do a rim shot. Pretty hard. I don't know if it's coming through on the phone. There's a little bit of a rattle because of those BBs. And so it's a good pad for the marching arts. If I was young, I wouldn't want to pay for it, of course, but I think I would probably rather have the 14-inch pad, which is going to be closer to the size of a real marching drum. And I believe the 14-inch pad is actually it's a little bit under a 14-inch because I think it does sit on top of a drum if you wanted to. But it's going to give you the ability to have a muscle memory that's more accurate to the size of a real drum. But this gets the job done. Again, so I bought it so I could use it for teaching and working with people who wanted to have that hard surface. For me personally to practice on, it's not for me. Unless I'm doing something in that kind of a thing. I did just buy a couple of new books by Jeff Fry that I'm interested in checking out and going through, and I'll probably practice most of those on this just because it's a marching related thing. So, but something I want to talk about these types of pads, and there's a couple on the market. I think Head makes one, and obviously Xymox and some others where again they have a carbon fiber type of vinyl wrap or something there. And I've actually seen back at Boise State, we'd have some kids that every now and then would split through the paper or wear through it and then rip it off and just have like a rubber thing there. So what you want to make sure of with these types of pads, and again, I haven't cut into this to know, and even some of the rubber pads that have a surface like the Off-World and stuff like that, eventually your sticks are going to wear away. The tips are made of wood. They're going to chip. you're going to hit the rim, they're going to chip, you're going to notice imperfections in there over time because you're playing on a surface that has some kind of abrasion. I don't care what it is, any kind of Kevlar related head, the White Max, Black Max, anything. It's not perfectly smooth. Of course, the suede ones are really popular. You're going to wear away the natural product of the wood. And when it does have chips in it or something like that, it has points that are susceptible to tearing or ripping these kind of surfaces. So you want to make sure that on these types of pads, or they have one, I think a head actually even comes with a warning when you buy them that tells you to try to use nylon tip sticks are recommended. Of course, we know that a lot of the marching sizes, the nylon's not available. So practice with a nylon tip stick, or practice with a stick that's relatively new that you use just on the pads. And when you notice that the tip might be starting to wear, change and you just go, you're fine. With a new tip, you're not going to have a problem. And I hope that it didn't mess up the focus of the thing. So if I take a nylon tip stick here, it's going to be a little brighter. This is a smaller tip stick, but still, that nylon is not going to wear away, and it's not going to damage or chip or dent or rip or anything like that type of surface. So my thoughts on these pads, they serve the purpose for what they're designed for very well. Again, there's others out there that use real drum heads on them. They have real rims and stuff like that. Probably in that $125 to $150 range, if not even more than that. So if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. I guess, like I said, I would rather spend that on a drum or put that toward a drum and then throw a mute on there or something like that. But the Xymox Pad is very popular. I think you can get them directly online, or every now and then you'll find them on Craigslist or whatnot because somebody has them. Again, I bought this one used. I didn't necessarily want this size, but out of all the pads I had, I've never owned a Xymox. So I bought this one just to use it for teaching and to practice some of the marching related things on it. So there's my take on the Xymox Pad. Nothing really bad to say about it. I've never personally ordered one, so I don't have the experience that I've read a lot about online with people having a hard time getting them and stuff like that. I can't even explain that. There's plenty of stuff. I know that there's not a lot of patience with people today. But they usually tell you, I believe, on the website how long it's going to be. It's going to be months and months. It's not something you're going to get overnight unless you buy something in stock somewhere. So there's my take on the Xymox Pad. This one, again, I would have ordered a different color scheme had I ordered it or something, but I bought it used. It works fine. And again, like I said, it's heavy enough that when you're sitting on a table, it doesn't move. It can sit on a drum. If I put it on a stand, I actually put it on top of a, I've got one over here. I try to reach it and grab it. I use this a quiet tone mute, and then I lay this on there so I can fit that into a snare stand easily. And it works fine if I do that. I still got a good sound. I don't want to have to adjust the stand to where it reaches across the top. So other than that, good take, good pad, no problems with it. A little hard for my taste, but perfectly designed for what it's just supposed to be used for. So check it out, Xymox.